What's up, everybody? I am Johnny Christ, and this is Drinks with Johnny. Thank you so much for being here for another episode, another week, another one that I'm particularly excited about. You guys know my wrestling fandom, and I'm joined by WWE Hall of Famer Charles Wright, a.k.a. the Godfather. How the hell are you, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, Johnny. Thanks for having me on the program.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. You know, I got to be honest, how this kind of came about. I'm flipping through my IG, my search feeds, and man, every other day I'm seeing your Instagram pop up, and I'm like, the algorithm gods are saying that I need to get together with this guy and have him on the show, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. I grew up watching you from the early days. I mean, my first introduction was as Papa Shango and the battles with the Undertaker in the early '90s. And all the way through Kama, and then ultimately into the Godfather. So much fun stuff to get into, man. I want to go back to the beginning though, because I did a little digging, man, and I heard that you were going to be a basketball player with a full ride or something like that, and then you know, someone said, "Oh, you're too big for basketball. You need to play football." And you're like, "Oh, mom's not going to let me play football." But before you even step on the field in college, you had a full scholarship. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I was in 1979. You're like, damn, I wasn't even born in 79. In 1979, I was a senior in high school. I was Mid-Peninsula, California, Basketball Player of the Year. Wow. I had a lot of basketball. The only reason I played basketball is I wanted to play football. But my mom and dad, mostly my mom, they said, you're going to get hurt. So somebody else in the family had gotten hurt. So they didn't want me to play football. So I played basketball. I was also a high jumper. In high school, I was 6'5", my senior year, maybe 180 soaking wet.
Jesus.
1 year. Okay. So because I didn't have the best grades in the world, I had to go to junior college for 1 year and get my grades up. So I went to junior college and in California, played basketball, and I started lifting weights and hanging out with football players. And mind you, when I played basketball, you weren't allowed to lift weights. I wanted to, but they wouldn't let you. It wasn't good for you. Long story short, I started hanging out with football players. Now a year's gone by. I'm 240, 250. I'm bench pressing 300 pounds, and I'm just all in on this. So now it's my sophomore year, basketball season's coming up, and I have no interest in basketball anymore. And now I'm 270, bench pressing 400. And a football coach from St. Mary's College went to UNR, Reno, and they told Coach Alt, hey, I got this kid who's an athlete. He's 6'5", he's 280, he can bench press, he can run, he can jump. So I went to Reno and they sent me to Reno. They put a basketball in my hand. Mind you, now I'm 290, benching 450, but I can still dunk a basketball. So now I'm just slamming. I don't know if I was doing 360s at that weight, but I'm slamming. I'm a 2-foot jumper. I can really jump. They gave me a full ride football scholarship to UNR in 1981. Never have ever played tackle football, played flag football and stuff like that, but never tackle football. So the first time I put on football gear was in college.
That's amazing. So what position did they start you at?
They put me at right tackle. I started off third team. I worked my way to first team, and then I blew out my left knee, and things changed at that point.
Yeah. So I guess mom was a little right at the end of it. Mom and dad were a little right at the end.
Well, I have problems with that knee today.
Oh man. In between there though, the story that I'm curious about is when you finally go to your parents and say, well, you know, I got this full scholarship to go to college based on football that I've never played before. What was their initial reaction?
They were just happy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, full scholarship? Yeah, go do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were just happy. They're always, no matter what I did, they were supportive, even if they didn't enjoy it, even from like all the tattoos I have. I mean, they weren't with it, but, you know, they supported me always and still do.
That's awesome. So you did mention in that story, though, you were like, I wasn't 360 dunking at that time. So I'm thinking in parentheses at that time, how many, I mean, before you were putting on that weight,
bro,
360 dunking?
In my senior year in high school, I averaged 20 rebounds and 20 points a game. And I was a 2-foot jumper. So, I mean, all I needed was a step. I didn't need to get a running start. So I could literally take one step, and the square above the basket, I could touch the top of the square. We put chalk on our fingers. Yeah. And I was only 6'5", but I jumped center because I had such a quick 2-foot jump. So I forgot the question now because I'm thinking about high school and how fun it was.
Let's go. Let's get into that. You said you were playing center. You said they jumped you at center.
I played that. That was my problem, is because I played basketball like most people would play football. I was very aggressive. I was always strong, even though I didn't lift weights. I was strong. I was aggressive. I wanted the ball. I didn't want you to score against me. And I could jump so high, I would get, if you didn't box me out, I'd get every rebound. And we had something called CYD, can you dunk? I averaged like 3 dunks a game in basketball. Shit. And it was because kids wouldn't block me out. And then somebody would miss, and I'd just go up and grab it. Wham! But I had 360s in many games. I did 360s. Games.
I couldn't imagine. So, I mean, here where my oldest brother played high school basketball here, and I couldn't imagine actually their high school's a little smaller. They only play like a couple other little teams or whatever.
They didn't have tapes back then and film, but we have pictures. And I have so many pictures where people don't believe me, right?
Yeah.
But they have a lot of pictures of me jumping center because we didn't measure how high we were jumping back then, but I was way over 40 inches, way over.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
That's fucking insane, dude. That's rad. Yeah. What was your
now I could probably get at least 4 inches.
That's still probably more than me, bro. You're doing fine.
And I hurt myself coming down.
Who were some of your basketball heroes? I'm a big sports fan, so I
back then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dr. J, Wes Unseld, Clifford Ray from the Warriors. He was a center, man. He led the league in field goal percentage because all he did was dunk. He got about 8 points a game. Everything was a dunk. Magic Johnson. I mean, I was getting older, but man, all the old dudes like that.
You named 2 of my heroes, 2 Lakers legends, in Kareem and Magic. Were you a Lakers fan growing up too, or?
I was a Lakers-Warriors fan. I was the Bay Area, but I loved the Lakers, and I loved the Lakers when they had that Celtics rivalry. That's what I grew up. And then I don't really have a favorite. I'm not a basketball team. I have a favorite football team, but everything else is I like athletes in the sport. Yeah. So I don't watch much football right now, but I still watch a lot of basketball. I think Lakers are playing Portland tonight. I'll be watching that, even though this isn't live. So
no. But hey, no, it's totally good. I'll be watching that tonight too if I can. It's Mother's Day weekend, so I gotta deal with my wife, and we've got 1 kid. And then of course my mom's too. So we got a busy weekend, but I'll always carve out time for the Lakers. What do you think the chances are this year? I mean, by the time this
not good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. It doesn't look. I mean, when the 2 guys are down,
play their way into the playoffs,
right? I mean, with the way they play when AD and LeBron are down, and they've been down a lot of the season, it's not good.
First of all, you ain't winning without LeBron. AD can't carry him himself.
Not enough.
What I'm more pissed off about is they've got a lot of talent on drum. They got a lot of talent on that team that's not stepping up.
I agree with you, man.
And AD cannot lead a team. He's not a leader.
Yeah.
Him and LeBron work together, and he's hurt. I think LeBron's hurt worse than people think he is. I have a feeling that they're going to have a hard time. And this is just me, and I'm a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron James, really big LeBron James fan.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to have a hard time. They're going to play their way in. They're going to lose the night against Portland. So, look what happened to them last night.
I still have my hopes up. They'll probably lose to Portland, but I will say shorthanded a few nights ago, they beat the Nuggets. So, and the Nuggets were on a winning streak. So crazier things have happened.
That showing last night wasn't too impressive.
No, it was not.
That looked like a team giving up to me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they know more about the injuries, and they're maybe just going to go, hey, we're going to call this season. Let's get ready for the next
the West is tough, bro. The West is no joke.
Great teams, man. Great teams.
And if they lose tonight, that drops them into 7th, I think.
Yeah.
And they're only 1 game or so before the Warriors catch them.
Never thought.
But
I
anyway,
saw this. Well, no, I never thought I'd see that. No,
but
this is the good stuff. This is what I
like. They're going to have a very hard road.
Yeah, they absolutely will. You did mention though, you haven't been watching a lot of football lately, but you do have a football team. Who is your football team?
Raiders.
Yeah.
But let me clarify.
Okay.
I'm gonna sound like an old stooge or Scrooge or whatever Scrooge, but I am an Oakland Raider fan.
Okay.
I am from the Bay Area. Got out of high school in '79, so '74, '5, '6, '7. I was going to Raider games every home game.
Nice.
And people will never have any idea how tough, mean, and badass that team was in those years. Mm-hmm. If you played football today like they played it, they'd arrest you.
Yeah.
But that's the team I remember. I've always been an Oakland Raider fan. I will stay a Raider fan now that they're in Vegas, of course. Mm-hmm. But I have to let go of the Oakland Raiders and now start to accept the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's going to be two different teams.
I agree, 100%. I mean, I didn't grow up in the time. Obviously, it wasn't. When I was growing up with the Raiders, they were actually the Los Angeles Raiders. Then they went back to Oakland. I followed them everywhere, man. And when everyone was like, "Are you bummed they're going to Vegas?" I was like, "Fuck no! I love going to Vegas." I might die every weekend. I go to the games when they finally are allowing fans back in. So you go the whole weekend, and then you end the weekend with a Raiders home game. Oh man, they're gonna have to bring me out on a stretcher for sure.
My youngest son's 18th birthday is. I don't know where I got this cough from. Haven't been smoking that much this morning.
Not even that much.
I think I've had 2 joints, 3 or 4 dab hits, and about 5 bong hits.
And that's not that much.
I've only been up 3 hours, man. Sorry. My youngest son's birthday is Monday, and we bought him the Raider tour, where they take you on an hour-and-a-half tour of the building and stuff. So we're going to go on that Monday.
Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations. You said he's 18?
18, 6'7", and don't play no sports.
What? He's a foot taller than me, what I would kill for another foot of height.
Dude, I'm only 6'5". I would have killed to be 6'7".
Yeah, dude. And you said he's the youngest? You got other kids?
My oldest is 33.
Okay.
Then I have a 31, a 29, a 25, and an 18.
Wow, it's 5 kids.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm 6. I got one in Germany. Sorry, Lisa. Yeah.
6 kids, man.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
And, I act young, and people think I'm younger than what I am, but I'll be 60 years old in a couple of weeks.
No way.
Yeah. So I was born in 1961, man. People are like, no way. I'm like, nah, man. Cannabis, bro.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, dude. Let's get in. So you're obviously, with the Godfather character was when I first saw you openly talking about marijuana use and stuff like that. It was like, what was the line? Roll up a fatty for this pimp daddy.
Light that blunt up.
Light that shit up. Light that blunt up. Because pimping ain't easy.
Light that blunt up and say pimping ain't easy, man. I mean, that pimping can be a lot of things besides, what real pimping is. Yeah. Just like that, pimping ain't easy, man. Life ain't easy.
Dude, but I wanted to ask, so in that, I had Doug Benson on the show. He has his all of his, comedic stuff around marijuana and stuff. When was, and there was like this, you were on Dr. Green Thumb's podcast, and I guess there's this big ass gravity bong that he's sending out that Be Real sending out to everyone. Did you?
I have one right here. I have one right here.
When did your love and affinity for pot start for you?
I was Papa Shango in the WWF at the time.
Yep.
At 27, I'd never tried cannabis in my life. I was afraid of it. I mean, I grew up when you just didn't do it. This was your brain on drugs, all that stuff. And so I never tried it. I never really seen it till I went to Reno, and I seen other athletes, basketball, football, these guys that are really good athletes. They smoke every day, and I'm like, damn, how do they do that? Now, cannabis I wouldn't try, but I'd drink a bottle of Jack Daniels. That was okay.
Yeah, some
and
that looks
so
like
when
this.
I was,
you probably had the OG though, old number 7 though, right? Oh, you got Gentleman Jack. I got Gentleman Jack behind me, but I got that one, and I got the single barrel rye. So before the end of this, we got to take
single barrel rye is really good. I have the old number 7 over there, but that's for people that want to mix Jack and Cokes and stuff.
Yeah.
I won't let them mix the other. I won't let them mix this.
That's a smart man. So, anyways, you're saying you're 27. You'd been drinking, but
I'm 27. I'm Papa Shango, and I might have to take a hit.
Put it up, man. Put it up.
I'm Papa Shango. I'm going through a real nasty divorce. Such a bad divorce that Undertaker's like, hey, bro, you need to go home and get your mind right before you hurt somebody. And so I went home. He was filming a movie called Suburban Commando.
Oh, yeah. I remember him in that one with Hulk Hogan. Okay,
so that's in L.A. That's like 3.5 hour drive from where I live, 4 hour drive. So he's like, hey, man, why don't you jump on your Harley, come out here and hang out with me, man, just for a couple of days, get your mind right. So I met a guy that was Hulk Hogan's driver, and he just happened to be a marijuana. He was a dealer for he had the best weed around.
Nice.
And so I got to be friends with him because we both rode Harleys and stuff like that, and he got me to try it. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to try it. I don't want to try it. Well, I tried it, and mind you, he had the best chronic. He never had swag or anything bad. Yeah. And I tried it, and I'm like, my back feels better, man. And I'm like, my knee don't feel as bad. And then we went to the gym, and I'm like, dude, I got the best workout I've ever had in my life. And then we went and ate, and I'm like, oh, my God, this is the best hamburger I've ever had. It was like that type of a deal. At that time, I'm taking Somas, Vicodins, Percocets, Percodans, Halcyons, Lycoprofens, A to Z, man. I'm taking that shit like it's vitamins.
Yeah.
When I tried cannabis for that time, within a year, would I have a shot of Jack and stuff? Yeah, but I don't drink. To this day, I will not take a pain pill, prescription pain pill. I won't take it. It's destroyed too many people's lives, and it was destroying mine. And if you look at me now at 60 years old, and you look at, I'm not going to mention names, but if you look at a lot of other wrestlers that are my age, they just look like, oh, man. That's because they're still drinking, they're still taking the pills, and they're still living that lifestyle. Taker's birthday was less than a month ago, right? And he calls me, and I tell him happy birthday, and he texts me back, I hate you, you son of a bitch. He goes, here you are 60, you look 40. He goes, I can say how old he is. He goes, I look 70. And he said this, he goes, you know what? Because I've known him a long time. I met him before I smoked. And he told me, he says, you know what? That cannabis has been good for you, bro. It really has. It's made you a nicer person, and it's really preserved you. And that's from him.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer in it. Firm believer.
Yeah. I mean,
I was telling people back then, I was trying to tell people to smoke.
You were wise beyond your years. You were ahead of your time. I mean, in all seriousness, though, like when you talked about the pills and stuff, I mean, famously going through professional wrestling, and throughout the 90s was really big. Even before that, the 80s and 90s, really big. I think that it's maybe a little less now. I wouldn't say for sure. I don't really know, but I know that was a lot of the prescription drugs because you guys are getting injured out there, minor or sometimes major, but sometimes minor stuff that are just nagging at you. And you got to go do a house show, this night. And then you're also filming Raw the next night, and it's just back to back to back. A lot of people don't understand what you guys are putting through.
We used to be on the road 270, 300 days a year.
Yeah.
And with double shots where you wrestle in Reno at 1 o'clock in Vegas at 8 or something, it's a lot on your body. It's very, very easy to get, addicted to pills. Very easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take 5 somas at a time, drink 2 or 3 shots, then go out somewhere. Really?
Yeah.
Really? And like I said, now it's just, there's so many wrestlers that have died from overdose of pills and heart attacks. And each one of them, when they die, I'm like, he died of this, he died of that. And I would try to get them to smoke cannabis. Yeah. And nobody would smoke it. Everybody's like, because they were guys my age, and they all grew up like me. No, but
there's a stigma.
It's a shame that so many guys I used to try to get to smoke, and they wouldn't even try it. They're like, I don't want to do that hippie shit.
Yeah, there was stigmas about marijuana for so long, and I'm so glad that it's like, it feels like it's changing, like I smoked a long time when I was in high school and stuff. I started earlier, and then I kind of had, through my 20s, I kind of stopped. And then like now into my 30s again, I'm getting high all the time again. And I'm recognizing some of the things you're saying, like it makes me drink less, which is good for me. And I'm like my wife likes me better high because she's like, you're a lot nicer. And I was, you just sit back, you chill, you laugh about some shit, and you have a good time, right?
What's bad with that?
Nothing's wrong with that. They're just, and it's better for your body.
I don't think my wife would ever want me to stop smoking. Before I started smoking, I was one of the meanest people you want to know. And I mean mean, just not a bully, but mean. And my wife, who I've been married to for 22 years now, and Cannabis, I'd say that's my two ladies that saved my life. And they once I start smoking, and that's where the whole Godfather character, instead of me being a heel and a mean person, I got to be high and be myself, man. Yeah. That was the best. I would even say that was a gimmick because I basically I was a part owner of a topless club out here called Cheetahs for a long time.
And we sold it to Vegas Cheetahs, right?
Yes. And so we sold it 2 years ago. So I've been out of that business for 2 years. So the new thing is the Smoketrain.
Smoketrain.
No more Hoe Train, it's the Smoketrain. I've got my own strain coming out in California with Be Real and Dr. Green Thumb really soon called Insane OG Godfather.
Nice.
And then I have my own CBD line that's coming out really soon too.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to. And that's going to be in. You said in California, so majority of the dispensaries.
The CBD is going to be everywhere, but
yeah,
it'll be at all the Dr. Green Thumb dispensaries in LA.
Awesome.
But I'm trying this Delta 8 stuff right now. So, have you tried that?
Which one? I'm sorry.
It's called Delta 8.
No, I haven't. Dude, I'm just getting back into it. I'm just getting back into it. I like the edibles though, or like the drinks. I'll because I'm a drinker, so it's a natural I'm just taking it back, but it's giving me more of a mellow high that way. I could, because man, I've been out of it so long. If I went just straight into a bong rip or something like that, I would be fucking floored. Like I'm still easing back into it. I used to be, I used to wake and bake like before I go to school. Me and my buddy had a 2-foot bong. I'd hit that. It was the only way I could go to school because I hated fucking school. So it was like the only way I could get through it, and but that was many years ago now,
Oh well, I'll tell you, you don't ever want to come over here smoking with me because you might end up being here a couple of days.
I'm gonna get my sea legs back first, and then I'm coming out to Vegas. I'm gonna be knocking on your door, Godfather.
I'm not bragging, but I have a high THC level.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Very high.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure you have a high pain tolerance or not pain tolerance, but a high tolerance rather to kind of anything, and pain tolerance for that matter.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're saying you take down a bottle of Jack. I'm sure that wasn't, making you black out or anything. That was just a normal Tuesday night, right?
My God, I shouldn't be drinking Jack. Me and Stone Cold drank a bottle of Jack.
When you're just on his Broken Skulls, right?
Yeah, it won't show for like 3 weeks to a month.
Okay.
But the Taker, I heard that, first of all, he told me him and Taker, they did 2 shows. And it took them 2 shows to drink a bottle of Jack. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see the bottle that me and him drank. So, I mean, that was with no chasers and no back. So, I ain't bragging. But I told him, I said I don't drink. I didn't say that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just said I don't.
I love that.
And so, that was real cool. That'll be a cool show, though. That'll be a cool show.
What can you tell me about being on that show? I'm a huge fan of it. Obviously, a huge fan of wrestling, a huge fan of Stone Cold, and my buddy Chris Jericho was just on there, which was like
just there, yeah.
Which is a crazy thing because obviously he's in AEW right now, and
I thought that was weird too.
Yeah,
that's a WWE sponsored show.
Yeah, it's on the network. It's on the WWE network, so it's like it was kind of crazy because famously even before AEW it was WCW, and during that rival, you were in the WWE at the time, and WCW's doing Nitro and Monday Night Wars and everything like that. It was like famously known now, like, Vince was like, just pretend they're not there and let's do our thing, and like, you can't go over there. Then you're a traitor and stuff, back and forth that way. And now to see them like bringing on the biggest guy on AEW.
I think with this show, it's different because he's been trying to get me on that show for about a year, but they were saying, I'm still under a Legends contract with the WWE. They just came out with a new Kama action figure. They're really cool with me. They're beyond cool with me. But with me, they said he might be a little bit too controversial. But we talked, and when I got there, I like, Steve, first of all, I'm like, what can't we talk about? He's like, brother, we talk about anything you want to talk about. I'm like, all right. I said, so Cannabis? He goes, oh, no. Yeah. He goes, feel free. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. So it was a good show. We talked about a lot of cool stuff.
I can't wait to.
But it's cool, dude. It's at his ranch. It's filmed at his ranch that he has. I can't describe how beautiful it is, man.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
I was out there with them and just hanging out. And it was a good time, man. It's real nice set and show. It was cool. It was an honor to be on that show, to be honest. But I met Steve. Me and Steve broke in about the same time, just about the exact same time.
Yeah.
And we had little. Yeah, I mean, we know each other well.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait. Again, I can't wait to see that and see what you guys got into and see how you guys handled that bottle of Jack. My fingers are crossed by the end of it. You guys are slurring just a little bit. Like, I don't wish that on anyone, but I want to see some loosening up, some weird shit happening.
It didn't hit me. We filmed from 11 o'clock. We were supposed to film from 11 to 2. They know the show goes 90 minutes. They want 120 minutes worth of time. We filmed from 11 till 4 because they'll cut out what they don't want.
Yeah.
And we just kept talking because it was going so good. It didn't hit me. My flight was at 8:30. I was on the way to the driver was driving me to the airport, and that's when it hit me. And then I was walking through the airport. I'm like, oh, it hit me. Passed out on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, all day yesterday, it was yesterday, yeah. All day yesterday, dude, I felt bad. I was, that's a lot of whiskey to drink, bro.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a lot of whiskey to drink. And I really didn't kick out of the whiskey till late yesterday afternoon.
Shit, man.
But you know what? Speaking of whiskey, I think I need a shot.
Yeah, let's do that, man. I'm gonna
do a shot with me?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I am.
Sometimes
of course, you think I'm going to pass up a shot? You think I'm going to pass up a shot with the Godfather? Come on now.
I shouldn't be shooting Jack Dillon, Jack, but I will.
Well, little birdie told me that you like Jack Daniels, so I made sure I had some on hand. I just had to.
Oh, well, there we go.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for being on the show.
Brother, where's my little skull? My
little
Papa Shango
Crystal Skull guy. I love that. It's a great one. That reminds me of the Papa Shango, man.
Yes, sir. Papa Shango.
Dude, so that was, like I said at the beginning of the show, that was my first introduction to you as a wrestler, obviously. And I just remember as a kid, I mean, I was watching the feud with the Undertaker going back and forth. I mean, you were coming in as you were the scary guy, but then all of a sudden Taker just keeps popping back up, and then all of a sudden you're scared of him as a character, and it's such a cool dynamic. And I loved your voodoo vibe of everything. Was that a Vince idea? Was that your character you came up with? Where did the Papa Shango character come from?
When Vince hired me, I had a tryout, and when I had my tryout, he hired me right then, and he says, "We're going to go ahead and put you on contract. Go home, keep doing what you're doing." He says, "We got to come up with something." He says, "You got a body of a monster, but you have a baby face." He goes, "I got to do something with your face. I got to cover your face with the mask." Something. He goes, "But I got to do something with your face." Maybe a month later, he called me. He says, "Charles, go rent the movie Live and Let Die." He goes, "There's a voodoo character in there, and that's where we got it from." And then we ran with it. I did a lot of research on it. A lot of research on the character, because at that time I was a biker, dude. I mean, a real inner club biker, and that was a big stretch from a country, Harley Davidson, country music, tobacco chewing, Jack Daniels drinking dude to become a voodoo man was hard.
Yeah.
Believe me.
How many nights did you have to spend in New Orleans to get that voodoo down?
I wasn't there long. I was there for I don't remember. I think I flew in a Sunday and I was there till Thursday, but I was meeting with real voodoo people.
Yeah.
And even though I was not a voodoo prince or priest, everything I was saying was real, and the spells that I was saying were real spells, and all the symbols and everything was real. It was all legit.
Dude, I didn't even realize that, because obviously I haven't done my own research on voodoo. I just love the character. That's really cool. That's a nice little insight there too.
But that was their idea. They we want you to research it. We'll research it as much as we can for you. But they sent me out there. Yeah, man.
So that's amazing. I love hearing. So I've talked to a few wrestlers since doing this podcast now, getting to know you guys and finding out the stuff behind the scenes for me. Because when I was growing up, there's a lot of guys that I was friends with that really get deep into your guys' personal lives and stuff as much as I could. The internet wasn't out then, but there was a lot of the magazines out that would kind of trying to depict a lot of these things. So I never got a chance to look at that other side until, you know, as an adult. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this is awesome. It just encompasses everything. You guys are actors, but you're living the life. You know, you're not. It's not sports, but it is, because it's you know, athletic as fuck. You know, it's
you got to be
not
an
drama,
athlete.
but it is. It's not comedy, but it is. It's just everything. Because somebody was asking me, I was like, why do you love wrestling so much? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. And I had to think about it for a while. And then I came up this epiphany. I was like, because it's a little bit of everything. It's just a fucking buffet. I love the buffet, man. It's fucking right.
I didn't watch wrestling when I was young.
Yeah, I was going to ask about how you got discovered, because I heard a couple stories. I don't know which ones were true. You know how the internet can be. But, you know, you said you're strip clubbing, you know, doing all that stuff. You managed a strip club. You worked at one before. I think you were DJing before. I mean,
I never DJed.
Never DJed? Oh, okay. So we debunked one of the things I read on the internet.
I started off as a bouncer, and I became a bartender. And back then you were a bouncer, bartender, manager, everything. You were one and all.
What was the first club?
And that's how I started off.
What was the first club you were at?
The first one I worked at here in Vegas was called the Crazy Horse Saloon.
Okay. I know Crazy Horse.
I also worked at the Crazy Horse 2. Yep. Cheetahs. That's so, and the Rhino for a minute out here.
Okay.
But I was always, at the very least, a manager, and then Cheetahs, I was operating general manager and, you know, one of the owners.
That's awesome, man. I had to imagine, you know, famously, you know, everyone's coming out about it now who's retired and stuff, but Vince was like, oh, you guys can't be seen together. You can't be out at strip clubs. You can't do this. So, like, everyone would be, like, sneaky about it when they go into strip clubs and shit. Like, one of the stories I heard was, like, Undertaker was in there and Kevin Nash was like, why are you here? And he's like, why the fuck are you here? We're not supposed to be here. And then they ended up hanging out.
First of all, Kevin Nash didn't hang out in strip clubs like us. But even if he was, that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's one of those bad stories. Okay.
Let me tell you where
kayfabe why don't you fill me in on what the life was?
Kayfabe was to and from the building.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's not true. That's not true, because I remember when I was wrestling Ultimate Warrior, and we'd pull into a Denny's and eat, and he would be there and we would leave. So that was kayfabe, but that was mostly at the building.
Okay.
I mean, I was wrestling Undertaker as Papa Shango, Kama in the Nation, and we'd be in titty bars at night all the time together.
I love it.
Titty bars were like, the thing you can't forget is back then there was no social media.
Yeah.
Nobody was carrying cameras around with them, so there was nobody to take a phone. There was no ESPN. There wasn't, whatever happened in that town stayed in that town, because, you know, you wouldn't even hear about it. So it was easier to be in strip clubs because nobody was taking pictures of you. Nowadays, you couldn't get away with that because you'd be plastered right away. You'd go viral.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very jealous of that time. I wish I was born a little earlier in the rock band a little earlier. I mean, we still have fun. I still go to strip clubs, but, you know, I love strip clubs. But man, to be free and not have to worry about that camera over my shoulder at all times. Whew. Oh
boy, and believe me,
Lord have mercy.
There wasn't a night that went by that me and Taker weren't in a strip club. Not a night went by.
Okay, that's fucking
for
awesome.
For years.
What's? Can you give me like one of your favorite stories? I talked to Jake the Snake. He was talking about when they were at a titty bar with Taker too. And he accidentally left Damien in the back of the car in the middle of Detroit, and the thing froze solid. Do you have any like fun stories about, you know, being in a club?
I don't have any fun ones. Mine are all. Here's the problem with me.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a problem. My stories always involve maybe fighting. If it was younger, fighting, women, and weed. And they all involve that. And anybody, if you ever talk to somebody about it, like, yeah, he's telling the truth. So my top of stories would be involving women, drugs, you know, I'm not one to tell on people.
Yeah.
I'll tell on myself all day.
What was your, when you say like, okay, so I like the women and weed
part.
I'll
tell you something. See,
I like the women and weed part.
Here's the problem. This is how we were treated. Or this is how I was treated.
Yeah.
I didn't say nobody else. I said this is how I was treated.
Let's hear it.
And the fact that I knew I had been in the business since '83. I'd been in the topless business so long that I knew how to talk to the girls. Yeah. I wasn't mean. I wasn't like that, but I knew what they understood. So I was really good at hooking up girls to take back to the hotel room. I was really good at that. Like every night I would bring a handful of girls back to the room and just send her to that room and send her. I mean, that's how it was. That's what's so cool about the Godfather gimmick. Am I a real pimp? No. Was I able to maybe, if you came into town, persuade a young lady to come to your room? Maybe. Does that make me a pimp? I didn't get money from it.
No.
Yeah, well, in my Hall of Fame speech, I said, I'm not really a pimp. I said, I got cheetahs. And I said, well, let's leave that alone.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had such a, but see, I don't even want to go there.
You don't need to go there. Yeah.
I can't go there.
Yeah, man, I totally understand. Like, well, maybe one day when I'm out there and we don't have the cameras around,
dude, if I ever meet you and we have a drink, I'll tell you some good stories.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm coming out. I'm coming out, motherfucker. This is going to be, we're going to go watch a Raiders game and have some drinks about it and fucking talk some shit. I can't wait. Back to the strippers. So you were a bouncer and stuff. When were you discovered, and because you said you didn't watch much of wrestling before you were in the profession?
They were filming a movie called Over the Top.
Yes, I love this movie
with Sylvester Stallone, and it was an arm wrestling movie. Mm-hmm. Well, my club, the Crazy Horse Saloon, was right down the street from MGM. Scott Norton and a lot of other wrestlers and big guys were in that movie as extras. Mm-hmm. So they would come to the club at this time. This is like 86 or so. There's very few black people tattooed like me. I mean, I am tattooed. My whole back, legs, I'm tattooed. And I was big, and they just kept telling me, dude, you should become a wrestler. And you know what I said? I want to do that phony ass wrestling. Man, at this time, I'm a biker, like a real biker, not no phony ass. I mean, a real in a club biker. And I'm like, I don't want to do that phony ass shit. And I didn't know much about wrestling when I was young. We watched roller derby.
Yeah.
Okay. Roller derby in the Bay Area was bigger than wrestling. Okay. So they're like, well, you ever heard of this dude named Bam Bam Bigelow? I'm like, the dude with the tattoos? Yeah, I've seen him, man. He's cool. He goes, well, he made $1 million last year. And I went, what? What? You made how much? So they hooked me up with Larry Sharp at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. And he says, well, if you fly yourself out here, because there was no way to send him a picture of me right away or anything.
Yeah.
So he says, if you fly yourself out here, we'll take a look at you. I'll put you up in a hotel room if you fly you out. So I flew myself out, and you should have seen his face when he seen me get off the plane. And I'm 340. I'm bench pressing 500 pounds. Dude, I'm just big. He just looked at me like, oh my God. We went to school. He goes, first of all, I will train you for free if you sign this contract. So I'm like, all right. So I signed the contract. Literally a year and a half from signing that contract, coming back to Vegas, telling my wife, I had a house. I paid for. I said, sell the house. I'm going to go to New Jersey. When you sell the house, come join me out there. I'm going to become a wrestler.
Wow.
A year and a half from that, at the very most, a year and a half, I'm wrestling Jerry Lawler in Memphis, Tennessee on a Monday night at the Memphis Coliseum, which, if you're a wrestling fan on this program, that's a big ass thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I beat him in the middle, 1, 2, 3. Well, a little gimmick. And that was my first match ever. No practice match. I was in wrestling school for about a month. Wow. And I did more drinking than I did anything. All I knew how to do was throw a punch and a kick and a drop down toe and lock up. That's the only thing I knew. Jerry Lawler seen me. He goes, all I need you to do is listen to me. He goes, and you'll be fine. And so.
Wow.
And then from there, it took off. It went I got into the WWEF, whatever it was at the time, very quickly.
Yeah, no, it seems like I'm trying to do the math in my head. That's pretty quick.
I went to Memphis, and then I did my program with Lawler, and then they brought Taker in, and we wrestled against each other a few times, and they made us a tag team, and we became like lifelong friends. He went to Japan. When he came back to Japan, I went to Japan. When I came back to Japan, he went to WCW. Mm-hmm. When he went to WCW, I went to Germany for a year with Otto Wanz. So that's where I learned, in Germany. And when I got back from Germany, he was in WWE. But in Germany for Otto Wanz, listen who was there. Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, Fit Finlay, Dave Taylor, Razor Ramon, PM News. That's the talent that was there for 8 months with me.
Damn.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And so when I came back, Taker was in WWF, and he's like, hey, they want to take a look at you, and then that's where they hired me.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's a great story. I mean, I didn't know about the Germany promotion there. I appreciate you teaching me about
Big that. Otto Wanz, yes, that was a big catch wrestling. Everybody has gone through Japan. Everybody,
yeah, I know a lot about Japan stuff. Yeah,
anybody that is anybody, you can even say Ric Flair went through Memphis, went through Japan. Okay, that's this. You go there. But yeah, man,
that's fucking wild, man. That's a cool crew to be around. I'm sure you guys had some fun. I mean, I've been out in Germany quite a few times, and you could definitely find some trouble in there, especially when you're probably in your 20s at the time.
I was probably 25.
Oh,
but I wasn't smoking then. I was drinking.
Yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble drinking in Germany.
I got a kid there.
Yeah, the sixth one that you missed at the beginning. That's fucking hilarious, man. I can't.
Now you got me taking another shot.
Let's do it, baby. All right, man. So as we're taking this other shot, though, I want you to think about it. Not really think about it. Just I want to continue in some of your career. When you already brushed upon it, the fact that you had the rivalry as Papa Shango with the Undertaker, and then Kama, where you melted the urn down to a necklace. That was like some of the funniest shit that I had seen. I was like,
who else but a black guy would take a fucking urn and make it a necklace, huh?
I mean, it was again, like, let's get into that aspect of it. So much of the shit that I used to watch, you just can't do anymore on TV. Like, it can't be, so much, and this is the more serious side of it. It was so stereotypical through the 80s and 90s with a lot of different culture stuff. I mean, you had guys that, like the Iron Sheik and stuff, that were always bad guys, Sergeant Slaughter. There was always like a stereotype character that went into things. Like,
well,
how do you feel about that? Like, now looking back?
First of all, the black guy still dies in all movies first.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed. You can't forget of the time. And it wasn't something that Vince was pushing or making us do. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was funny. It was it's just people are woke now. It's just a different, you can't compare now to then. It was a different time. People's ideas were different. People thought different. It was a hit for a reason. I mean, I don't hold anything against, they did blackface. When they did blackface, when DX did, they told us they were going to do it. We did. It was like being in a movie and doing a job and being part of a script it was just part of the movie. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of movies where there had a lot of racism and stereotypical things, but it was part of a script that people enjoyed to watch. Was it catering to racism? Yeah. Okay. They hated the Nation of Domination, but can you imagine us out there? They hated us.
Oh yeah.
But it's a different time, bro.
It is.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away with any of that stuff.
You couldn't get away with any of your Godfather stuff today.
Oh, are you joking?
Let's take a shot to the Godfather one more time. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Godfather's still around, though.
Yeah, baby. Oh yeah, no, he's. I'm talking to him. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So it was good stuff, man. It was different time.
Different time.
You couldn't do it now, nor if I was in the WWE, I'd still do the Godfather.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff I wouldn't do, and they wouldn't do either. It's a different time.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Like, I like to ask the question about it and see like how everyone feels about it these days. Hall of Famers like yourself that I've had the pleasure of talking to.
We were just playing a part, bro. And that was the script.
Yeah.
And we did the script the best that we could. And believe me, most of us were having drinks afterwards and laughing about it.
Oh, I'm sure. That's some
and
of that
hoping
stuff.
Our ratings were good.
So a lot of people are like, watching this and or not this, but watching wrestling. Like my wife and stuff. She never got it right. So I'm still watching it. And she's like, but they're like, what's up with their acting? I'm like, do you know how hard it is not to be laughing their asses off right now? Like you talk about some acting. That's live acting that they're doing that we're watching. And they're not busting up laughing, knowing some of the times the ridiculous nature of the storyline, right?
Bro, I mean, I had such a good time as I wrestled. Memories that'll never be forgotten. That was some of the best times in my life was when I was wrestling. And at that time, wrestlers are different now than they were back then. And nothing against the guys today. I mean, everything changes. They hated me. People hated me when I was Papa Shango like you wouldn't believe. But back then, most of the wrestlers were athletes of some type: football, basketball, wrestling. I think that they were, I'm not saying they're any tougher, but they were stronger, bigger, and crazy. Yeah. And mind you, no social media and none of that to deal with. But it was cool for me because I was around big, crazy son of a bitches just like me that understood me and I understood them. And there was very few guys in the WWEF that I did not get along with. It was a great time. And to come up during the Attitude Era was even better, bro. Just to be yourself, to not be scripted and just be able to do whatever you want. I'm
so glad to hear that because that is by far and away my favorite era of wrestling. Some of the stuff I watched, it's rewatching because, I wasn't born yet. Some of it was, I was right in the thick of it. Then in my teenage years was the Attitude Era. And that was like, for me, man, that was the pinnacle of wrestling. I was just like, because like you said, you can feel it when guys like yourself, Stone Cold, these characters, The Rock, were just being bigger versions of themselves. You know what I mean? It was like, it was so cool to see. Like, you're like, you go in there with a super babyface character. No one's actually like that. No one's actually fucking eating their vitamins and saying their prayers every day. Well, I mean, maybe they are, but you know what I mean? It's not a realistic, tangible character anymore at that point. And I think a lot's changed over the years. I mean, now the protagonist blurs every line in every movie, right? Like, and you got crackheads who end up being heroes in movies now. I digress a little bit from that just to say that like, I loved that era so much. And getting back to the Godfather, I mean, you had the hoe train, man. I mean, you're coming in fresh off of strip clubs. You got the hoe train, and a lot of the girls ended up having careers after in the WWE as wrestlers and stuff. I mean, can you speak to that and
Lita?
That was Lita.
Lita was one of the hosts. Lita did it as a favor to my wife because the girls that showed up were just they weren't good looking. And so my wife, somehow she asked Lita to do it. And back then, Lita didn't have a lot of girls to work against. Not like Lita knew how to wrestle. Yeah. And there was very few girls that knew how to wrestle. So she was just helping me out. Victoria. Yeah. Victoria was a lot on TV, a lot as one of my girls because they didn't have spots. I love them all, man. And it was cool. Probably most of them. I think Victoria's cool with it. But most of the girls that did it are cool with it now because that's what people ask. Oh, you were one of Godfather's hoes. And I see there's a clip on my Instagram where Molly Holly is being interviewed by Sean Whitman and somebody else. The guy from Bruce Pritchard's show. Yeah, I saw that. And they asked her, and I don't know if you've seen the clip. I did. But they asked her, and she said, well, when Jim Ross offered her a contract, she said, well, just so you know, like a lot of the girls start off as Godfather's hoes. And she declined to do it. And she's like, I'm kind of glad I did. Well, that's another one of those things I'm telling you, man, I was, all the Godfather is my big, happy, high ass, not the old mean guy, but the guy that's high, just enjoying life and having fun and being myself. I was never scripted, except if they needed you to hit a certain town or a certain something. I was never scripted. They never asked me what I was going to do. They basically said, You got 12 minutes. Go.
That's fucking incredible, man. I love that. And then you're one of the best at it, man. I got to be honest. Like, you're coming down to the ring, you know, something to behold. You're dancing, you're having a good time. It's fucking. I'm glad I know this Godfather, because you know you're walking down and then you grab the mic when you're in the center of the mic, man. There was some nights on Raw, you had me in fucking stitches, man. I just got it. It was fucking. It was so fun to watch that character develop, and I mean, see, to me, I mean, then when you tag up with Val Venus, I mean, that was just like a weird match made in heaven just for the time, like, you know, like
dude, they didn't know what to do with me because the character was so over.
Yeah,
but they didn't want to work anybody that was too on top because they didn't want them to be part of that. So they didn't know what to do with me. And so they would put me with D'Lo. They put me with Val. It was just other people. And they hated it because they were just part of the Godfather show.
Yeah.
But they wanted to keep that because you talked about the ratings between WCW and us. Mm-hmm. I will tell you this. The Godfather never lost a rating. Like if I was on at 10:45, I never lost a segment to the WCW. Wow. The Godfather, no matter who they put against me, when you heard that, people were tuning in on the Godfather. And that's, you know, like the Hall of Fame. You know, was I the world's best wrestler? No. Was I the most technical wrestler? No. But to this day, you're still talking about Papa Shango.
Yeah.
You're still talking about the Nation of Domination. You're still talking about the Godfather. So my body of work is there, man. I mean, I was there as 4 or 5 different characters.
Yeah.
Not too many people could do that.
And they were all good characters at having high spots. I mean, that's the other thing. It wasn't like there wasn't a single character that didn't have a high spot.
But the people like, why did you come and go? Were you fired? I'm like, no. Here's my deal. Put it all in a nutshell. Wrestling was fun to me. I always had the strip clubs. I was always making money. I made just as much money in the clubs as I have in there. I always made money. Wrestling was fun to me, to be out with crazy people just like me that understood me, that did stupid, crazy things like me, and to have fun. Okay? When I wasn't having fun, I would tell Vince, gotta go. And he'd be like, okay, Charles, go, we're coming back. And then they would call me, and they're like, you ready to come back? And I'd be like, no. And then, well, you want to come back? I say, no. They call me 4 or 5 times. I say, nope. And then they call me and say, well, this UFC thing's starting, and we're going to do a thing, and we know that you know a little bit, and we want to put you on a Harley. I'm like, oh, I get to ride a Harley? You know, and that's why I'd come back. I mean, anytime that I wasn't having fun, I would leave because I had another way of making money.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and I wasn't a mark. I was never a mark for me or the business. Love the business, respect the hell out of the business. Business has made me a lot of money, but I was never a mark for wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. You kind of answered a lot of the questions right there in that. I mean, that's fucking rad. I mean, the fact that you're able to, you know, come and go as you please in a lot of respects because you already had everything, you know, you needed. And, you know, this was something fun. And it comes across in the Godfather character. But I want to ask about another, you touched upon it a couple times. I know you guys have a reunion coming up in Qatar, I believe, sometime soon. Nation of Domination.
Dude, okay, first of all, wait, stop. I can't believe I almost have to take a hit. Ron Simmons called me, a couple weeks ago, do you know anything about this thing in Qatar, man? And I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
I love this because it's all the buzz. Everyone's talking about it. Oh, shit.
Ron called me, and then Ron said, well, they're saying on 4 something, and then I looked at the date. I'm like, Ron, it says 4/22. It doesn't. Whatever it was 22. It's not 21.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know nothing about this. I called D'Lo. I know nothing about this. I called Mark Henry. I know nothing about this. So I have no idea what that is. Not one. People always try to get the nation together, but the nation wants so much money. It's usually like people don't do it. Yeah. And so I know I have no idea nobody's talked to me about that, or D'Lo, or Ron, or Mark Henry.
That's amazing. Okay, I love that. See, I love like when I get to talk to people and get because you know how it is. The internet itself is already bad, but then the internet with wrestling fans could be like so much fucking worse.
No idea what they're talking about. Hey, I'll go. if they pay us enough.
I love that attitude. Let's talk a little bit about the Nation of Domination, though. I mean, obviously,
you don't mind if I take a hit, do you?
I do not mind it. Oh, please. I would love for you to take it. I just wish I had something that I could hit along with.
Only thing is, I'm not even going to get into this political bullshit, but I went ahead and got vaccinated.
Yep.
And I got my second shot yesterday. And dude, man, my arm's sore. I got a headache. And people say it goes away after a day. So
it does.
You know,
does.
I might
I'm
cough
fully
a little
vaccinated.
stuffy. So if I cough, go ahead and talk. But if I cough, forgive me. It's because I'm a little stuffy.
No, it's all good. Sometimes you gotta cough. You get a little higher that way. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nation of Domination. Obviously, I mean, you know, Ron Simmons, legend, and then you got D'Lo. You guys at one point had like so many guys in there with you, and of course, one of them, probably the most famous one we could all talk about, is The Rock coming in as Rocky Maivia, and then you know, a lot of people credit to his entire career is when he joined the Nation. Now, he probably would have still had a great career, but when he turned heel and went to Nation of Domination, that was a really big moment. Like, what was that like for you already, you know, being a part of that?
Well, let me say this. The last time that I seen him, I was with my 18-year-old son now, and he told my son, you have no idea how much your dad had to do with the development of my career. And I just want you to know that I appreciate your dad more than you could ever know. The Rock is the coolest mofo in the world, man. Yeah, good dude. A lot of people, well, there's nobody that has the stardom. Hogan, nobody has the stardom that he has. Nobody's made the money that he makes.
Yep.
But he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. He deserves it. And I'll tell you what, here a funny story about him.
Yes, please.
And Cannabis.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Hold on. I'm going to take another shot while you tell this story.
Camera in this recorder.
Let's do it. Of course I want to hear that story. Come on. You know I want to hear that fucking story. The listeners want to hear that story. Let's go, Godfather.
When we first did the gimmick, Vince wanted, well, first of all, I don't know how much time we have here. You got to watch me because I'll talk forever. I got to go back a little bit. If you want to hear a story, I got to go back.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm coming back. This is one of those times where I went home and then they've been calling me to come back and I've been saying no. So Vince says, we want to bring you back as Papa Shango. And I don't know if you know this. He goes, but it's not going to be so cartoonish. It's going to be a lot more menacing. And we really got into this on the Stone Cold podcast because they had the pictures to back it up. I don't have those pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I got down to like 270 pounds. That Jerry Lawler had come up with Jerry Lawler is an artist. He came up with a new face. They came up with a new outfit. They came up with it was going to be cool. Long story short, I come to TV and they say, Vince wants to see you. And I'm like, cool, I want to see Vince, right? So I'm like, what's up, Vince? Hey, you know, all that type of shit.
Yeah.
And he says, Charles, change of plans. I'm like, change of plans? He goes, we're going to put you in the Nation of Domination. You and Farouk, Ron Simmons, are going to wrestle the Undertaker in a handicap match, and you're going to go over.
Wow.
And I'm like you are. I'm like, what? So I'm the type of dude, hey, if you pay me what you're going to say you're going to pay me, what's the script?
It's your show. You tell me.
It's your show. You're paying me. You're my boss. You're going to pay me this money that you promised me, right? Okay,
yeah.
Well, okay, cool. So I go to Ron Simmons. That's the first time I met Ron Simmons. I'd love to talk more about him. That's the first time I met Ron Simmons. I go to him, and I know who he was, of course. I watched him play football in college. And he's like, man, I don't know, man. I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so I can sound just like Ron.
Yeah, that's a good fucking impression. I was just going to say.
And so I believed him. And so the next week at TV, Vince, well, shit, if you're doing a shot, I mean.
Oh, no. I didn't want to interrupt you.
I'll pour one. I know, because now I'm thinking about this shot. So anyway, so the next week, Vince pulls me and Farouk, Ron Simmons, into the office, and he says, you guys know who Dwayne Johnson is? And I'm like, no, I didn't know who the hell he was. And Ron's like, yeah, they're rocking my V. I mean, yeah, I know you. And so there I go in, act like Ron. And so he goes, well, listen, I'm not going to get into all the stuff, but basically he says, I'm going to put him in the Nation. He goes, once I get people to hate this kid, when I turn him, this is from Vince's mouth, he will be the biggest thing wrestling's ever seen. Man, and then Vince is like, this is what I need from you two. He laid out Mark Henry. He laid out Ahmed Johnson. He laid out everything that we were going to do until the very end, and then how long that it would take.
Fuck.
And we ran with it. But now the story about Rock.
Yeah.
So now, but he says, I want you guys, because at first we were a group before Rocky turned off a group. We were all a group. He goes, I want you guys to ride to the buildings together. I want you to show up as a group, and I want you to leave as a group. And so now we're all, me, Rocky, who was it? Me, Rocky, Rod, and D'Lo. We're all riding together. Mind you, I've been smoking every day a lot since I was 27 years old.
Yeah.
I'm a lot older than 27 now. So every day I would get in the car. The first thing I would do is light up a J, right? Or a blunt. So Rocky came to me one day and he goes, bro, I can't ride with you anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now Farouk's not in the car anymore. Now it's me, him, D'Lo, and Mark Henry. He goes, I can't ride with you anymore. I'm like, why can't you ride with me anymore? He goes, dude, everywhere I go, I smell like marijuana. He goes, and I tell these people, and he don't smoke as far as I know. He didn't smoke around me.
Yeah.
He said, and I tell these people I don't smoke. He says, but every time I see him, they say, you say the same thing, but every time I see you, you smell like weed. So he goes, I'm sorry, but I can't ride with you anymore. And I'm like, I completely understand, brother. I said, well, I ain't going to stop smoking. So I jumped in with Ron, John, the Acolytes. I jumped in with them and Teddy Long. And that's yeah.
And that was the Smokey bus then, huh?
Isn't that crazy? To the Rock, man. To the Rock. Good dude.
To the Rock.
Really
Fuck
good dude. God bless him.
I'm so glad that he's a good dude.
He could have put me in a movie or something, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you got to have tried some of his tequila, right?
No, I'm not a tequila man.
You know, I'm an everything man. So, yeah, I haven't tried his tequila yet, but I'm really interested in it. And again, I'm just so happy that he's a good dude because hearing it from you, because dude, it just seems like it. Everywhere you look, like I think that's why everyone's attracted to him. And I think Ron Funches, a very good comedian and friend of mine, said it best: is that The Rock has become the Beyonce for guys. Like he could do no wrong. It's just he's everywhere, doing everything and doing it well.
Good dude. God bless him. Good dude. I mean, I always say if there's anybody that deserves that spot, nobody better than him. Because I'm telling you, man, he's a good dude. And, there's a lot of people that are in Stone Cold, another good dude. Yeah. Undertaker, another good dude. There's a lot of people in that position, but not really in his position.
Totally.
I mean, he's one of the top, right, stars of, I mean,
not even,
right?
And just top stars of life. Not even like not even just wrestling, acting, anything. It's everything put together. Have you watched any of the Young Rock? I'm actually really into this show.
No, my problem is, and I need to, and I do the Be Real podcast once a week, every week.
Okay.
I didn't do it this week because I was busy all week, but they always talk about, I don't watch TV, and I just don't watch TV. If in the morning, I might catch a little bit of sports in the morning, and then I'm done with the TV. I listen to music all the time. So I never watch TV.
So you listen to music
so I don't
all the
watch
time.
These things. And I always tell people, I'm going to watch it tonight, but I never do.
I love that.
I'm just not into TV anymore.
No, that's totally fine. I mean,
I'm always working at this is my office here. I'm always working in my office. I play disc golf.
Disc golf. Oh shit. So I saw a post with you on a golf cart. I thought we were going to get to talk a little bit about golf because I'm a golfer, and then you say it's disc golf now. Okay.
No, it's disc golf. I play disc golf. Really good at it.
Dude, you got to show me the ropes on that because I'm sure I'd love to get high with you and do that because that sounds like a lot of fun.
I love shooting guns.
I love shooting guns too.
I belong to a private gun club, and I try to shoot once a week. I don't kill anything anymore. I don't think the world's going to end. I don't think I'm going to have to go up against the government.
No, it's a fun
I
hobby.
just love guns. I love shooting guns. I love shooting targets. I just love shooting.
Man, I love that.
I'm telling you,
this is all reasons why as I said before, the Instagram algorithm worked, because it linked us up together, and I'm like, I love all those things that you just said, including the Raiders, including everything. I want to give you just a moment. You did mention you wanted to talk a little bit about your boy Ron Simmons. A pioneer in so many ways. I want to just give you the floor here for the last couple segments here, and just let you talk a little bit about your buddy.
I watched him play football. I mean, he's probably only a couple years older than me at the most. He's probably just a couple years older than me. I watched him play football. When I watched his wrestling career somewhat in the WCW, just because I knew him as a football player. So when I met him that night as Papa Shango, or when I was supposed to be Papa Shango, they made me Kama Mustafa. Good dude, man. Nothing but knowledge. He has tried to help every black person in the sport along with white person in this sport. He's always willing to help. He is so knowledgeable, tough son of a bitch, strong son of a gun, has the best stories in the world. I think about him, I just start laughing because, man, let me tell you something, man. Man, remember this time? One time, he's the best storyteller in the world. A lot of things people don't know is all the saying that The Rock has, know your role, and all these things. Those were things that Ron just said all the time, and Rock got it from Ron.
That's awesome.
Like, damn. Ron used to say that, damn, here we go again. Damn. It was just, boy, he used to tell everybody. This was Ron Simmons. I hope Ron watches this because he'll laugh. So too. Ron used to say, know your role, boy. There can only be so many Stone Colds. There can only be so many Undertakers. There can only be so many. Know your role and do the best job you can at your role. And that was where Rocky got know your role. And somebody would be complaining, man, Ron, they want me to do this job tonight. And this bullshit. Ron said, boy, know your role. That's your role, so you do your role the best you can. They're paying you to get that man over. Know your role.
Wow.
And that didn't matter if you were black, white, green, or whatever.
Yeah.
Know your role.
Know your role.
Just a good dude, bro. Like I said, I have my own line of my own cannabis strain coming out really soon. I already have the bags. And he's like, man, you got to send me one of those bags. Don't send me no bag with none of that shit in it.
He just wants the bag.
Send me a bag. He goes, man, I got to have it. You want to see the bag?
I do want to see the bag. I was just going to ask.
Right, I did a podcast yesterday. I got up and I had underwear on. I forgot. I got shorts on.
I'm a little upset you didn't have the underwear on this time.
This is when you're in the Hall of Fame, they give you a ring.
Okay.
They also give you this here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I can.
But they give you these things that go on belts. But this is.
Oh, that's your bag right there. Okay.
That's my bag. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, yeah. No, I can see it. I got a camera in my way a little bit. That's why I'm like.
Yeah, I got the lights.
No, you can see it now. You can see it clear as day.
He's like, man, you better send me one of them bags, man. He told me once, right? We talked about smoking earlier and how you said your wife says that you're a better, nicer person when you're medicated.
Yeah.
Okay. If I wasn't medicated on the road, I would be really irritable. Yeah. Let's just say that. And I was riding with Ron and John one time, and I was being such a dickhead that Ron pulled over, went into a Denny's, was in there for like 10 minutes, and came out with a joint.
He's like, you need this. It was like the Snickers commercial. You're a dick when you're hungry.
This thing, you shut your mouth. But I love that dude, man. He is. One time I didn't have any papers and I didn't have a pipe, and we used to go to Walgreens or something, buy the little corn pipes if you couldn't find anything.
Oh, I know those old corn cob pipes. I love those things, man.
They were great for a couple bucks. You could smoke, right?
Yeah.
And we couldn't find nothing was open. So Ron's like, man, I am so tired of hearing your ass. Pull over, John, pull over. So he pulls over, and there's some people on the sidewalk. And I think we were in New Jersey. And he goes, "Hey, man, you got a cigarette?" And the guy's like, "You're Ron Simmons." He goes, "Yeah, man, come here. You got a cigarette? Give it here." "Okay, man. Yeah, I'll sign that." Okay. All right, man. And then he said he took the cigarette,
Took all the tobacco.
got all the tobacco out of it, gave it to me, said, "Now shut your mouth and smoke your stuff. Stop bothering us." Just a good dude, man. I love that dude. I really do.
Dude, that is so fucking fantastic. I'm already hitting it right now. Dude, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. I know you got a lot of other shit to do. Really appreciate the time. I just want to ask one last question because I'm wearing the hat right now. Raiders chances. We talked about a little bit of Raiders football at the beginning. What are we thinking for this season? How you feeling about Gruden? How you feeling about Carr? If we don't,
I think
what are we looking at?
I think Gruden is more the problem in the administration than Carr is.
Okay. You like to elaborate on that?
Unfortunately, and I've been a Raider fan for a long time, they make stupid decisions. I don't know about their administration. I don't think hiring Gruden was the choice. I think you should have got a younger guy. Like, they should have never fired Del Rio.
I loved Del Rio.
They should have never got rid of Del Rio. And you want me to be completely honest?
Yeah, as honest
they'll
as
probably come in last in their division or close to their division.
You think so?
They're not a good football team. I love them to death. I'm a diehard. I wish I could go show you my Raider. I have a Raider pool table in my garage, an actual complete Raider pool table, but they're not a good team yet.
I agree with Yet. I think the offense was really good last season, but it's now been 2 seasons in a row that I've been watching them for 8 games be one of the teams that they're like, we're going to the playoffs. And then halfway through the season, something just happens. To me, I agree with you. I think the responsibility falls on Gruden, because if you got a team that can look like world beaters for 8 games, you should be in the playoffs. And he's missing.
Look how we played Kansas City twice last year.
Dude, yeah. I understand the team's built to compete with Kansas City because division rivalries, right? But you got to be able to beat some other teams too and not lose to the, you shouldn't have been losing to the Jets like 2 years in a row.
No.
Yeah, that was bad.
And that's coaching.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's where I'm at coaching. As a Raiders fan. Love the Raiders. I love the talent on the team. I absolutely do love John Gruden. I mean, that was when L.A. Raiders. I like
John Gruden too. I just don't think he's the coach
might not be the
today.
Guy. Exactly. And I think this is his last season. I agree. If they don't make the playoffs this season, I'm on board. I'm on board with the smoke train, the hoe train, whatever you want to call it these days. I'm on board with the Godfather train. We're gonna have to change some shit again.
Well, you're gonna have to come out to Vegas and sit in this chair over here. And we'll go ahead and get you a ride back to your hotel, but we're going to put you on the smoke train and see how you do. If you like, we'll go on the drink train too.
I like both trains coming and going. Let's do it. Well, thanks again, man. Cheers so much. Everyone, you guys could follow and find more of The Godfather at The Godfather. The Smoke Train, this guy's new line coming out. There's so much cool shit coming out. Don't go to Qatar. He knows nothing about it. But thanks again so much.
Not yet. I hope it is. Make some money.
Yeah. Hey, let's build it into fruition. But everyone, go find The Godfather everywhere, man. Go watch some really cool shit, as I have over my years. And thanks again so much for the time, man.
Peace, everybody. Keep smoking.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone, and thanks to The Godfather, Charles Wright, for being on the show. Man, I didn't know what I was gonna get into with him, and it was so much fucking fun. I really think I made a new friend and someone that is just such a cool dude, has had such a great career. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below. Leave us a comment. Tell us your favorite part about the show. Head over to drinkswithjohnny.com, where you can find a premium membership, and we're going to be doing some really cool extra content coming to you guys very soon. Everything for this, though, you can find at drinkswithjohnny.com. And for more information, follow us everywhere on your social medias at Drinks with Johnny, and that's super easy to find. And you know what? I just can't thank you guys enough, because I'm having so much fun creating this content, getting new friends and some old friends and getting them all together. And, I couldn't thank you guys enough. So appreciate every single one of you filthy animal motherfuckers. So until next time, cheers.